Welcome to the Human 5.0 Project, the podcast where we cut straight to the breakthroughs that matter, the show where science meets self-optimization. I'm your host, Ultimate Biohacker 10X, and here we break down the real research, real data, and real dosing behind modern biohacking, from compounds and peptides to techniques, devices, lifestyle strategies, and performance protocols. Most people jump in and jump out before they get the gold, so we're keeping it tight and delivering the essential insights you need without the fluff. If you've taken the time to hit play, we'll make sure you walk away with valuable knowledge that can transform your approach to longevity, health optimization, and beyond.
You cannot live in the 21st century and have a zero plastic body. It's virtually impossible. But if you've been scrolling online, you'd think one plastic water bottle is going to instantly destroy your hormones and end civilization. That, my friends, is panic. And we don't panic here. We do levers. Today we're doing a standalone deep dive into microplastics. We'll call it Microplastics 101. If you listen to my hormone optimization series, you know I touched on microplastics as part of the Endocrine Disruptor conversation. But this topic gets searched constantly, so it deserves its own playbook. And while regulation slowly catches up, your body still has to live in the real world right now. So today, we're breaking down what microplastics actually are, why they matter for hormonal signaling, why dose, timing, and repeated exposure matter more than internet hysteria, and most importantly, the hierarchy of interventions. What actually moves the needle versus what is just performative, clean living theater. This is Ultimate Biohacker 10X with the Human 5.0 Project. Let's get into it. But first, a quick disclaimer. This is for educational purposes only. It is not medical advice. This is about environmental exposures, physiology, and practical risk reduction. Not fear-mongering, not diagnosis, and not pretending you need a perfect life to be healthy. The goal is not zero exposure. The goal is to lower unnecessary exposure and build a more resilient system. Okay? Cool? All right, let's lock in. So first, let's define the problem without the drama. Microplastics are tiny plastic particles. In general, that term refers to particles smaller than 5 millimeters. And when they get even smaller, you'll hear the term nanoplastics. Now, why does that matter? Because size changes behavior. Larger particles are one issue. Smaller particles become more biologically relevant because they may move differently through water, food, air, and potentially through the body. Now, here's the key thing most people miss. When we talk about microplastics, we are often talking about two overlapping problems. Problem one, the particles themselves, tiny fragments, fibers, and broken down plastic material. Problem two, the chemicals associated with plastics. That includes additives like BPA and phthalates, which can act as endocrine disruptors. So this is not just a trash the environment story, it's also a hormonal signaling story. To understand why this matters for hormones, forget the word plastic for a second and think about the word structure. Because your body runs on signaling. Hormones, they're like keys. Receptors on your cells are like locks. When the right key hits the right lock, a message gets delivered. Build muscle, regulate metabolism, manage stress, ovulate, recover, sleep, adapt, etc. Endocrine disrupting chemicals can interfere with that signaling. BPA is often described as a xenoestrogen, meaning it can behave in ways that mimic estrogen signaling. Phthalates are commonly described as anti-androgenic, meaning they may interfere with androgen signaling. The point is not that every plastic exposure shuts down your hormones overnight. The point is that repeated exposure can create signal noise, and biology hates signal noise. The good news, your body can handle some noise if you lower the volume elsewhere. That's the frame. Not instant catastrophe. Not one bottle and you're done. But low-level friction repeated over time. Now, before you go throwing out everything you own, let's just talk toxicology. You've probably heard the phrase, the dose makes the poison. Well, that still matters. But here's the curveball with endocrine disruptors. They do not always behave in a clean, linear way. In some cases, small doses can still matter, especially during sensitive windows like fetal development, childhood, puberty, or pregnancy. For most adults, though, the practical goal is not total elimination. It's reducing the area under the curve. In plain English, lowering the repeated daily burden. lower the number of unnecessary hits, lower the total background noise, lower the amount your body has to constantly deal with. That is a much smarter target than chasing perfection, because the real issue is not usually one giant exposure, it's the modern stack. Poor sleep, highly processed food, stress overload, sedentary living, bad metabolic health, and chronic environmental inputs on top of that. Microplastics matter more when they are layered onto an already overloaded system. It's like running a marathon with a pebble in your shoe. Small at first, annoying over time, and a lot worse if you keep adding friction. So the move is simple. Reduce the dumb exposures, then strengthen the organism. Now, where do the biggest exposures tend to come from? Think like an operator here. Where are the biggest, most avoidable hits? This is where the exposure story gets practical. First, heat plus plastic. This is the big one. Microwaving plastic, dishwashing plastic repeatedly, hot liquids in plastic, leaving bottles in a hot car. Heat changes the equation. Second, repeated food contact. Containers, wrappers, linings, takeout packaging, old scratched storage containers. Repeated contact matters. Third, bottled water. Especially single-use bottles that sit in heat, get squeezed, transported, and stored for long periods. Fourth, indoor dust. This is massively overlooked. Dust isn't just clean your house advice. It's a daily inhalation and ingestion route that adds up faster than you think. Synthetic textiles, carpets, furniture, and consumer materials, they break down over time. And that ends up in dust. And dust is not just dirt, it becomes an exposure route. At one point, I was curious about the film that was on the inside of my windshield. So check this out. Plasticizers and flame retardants, right? They're added to your dashboard, carpets, and seats to make them flexible and fire resistant, but they break down from heat and they release compounds that migrate into the glass. Gets right through your cabin air filter and everything else. So not only do you have the PFAS, but you also got phthalates there as well. Fifth, synthetic fabrics. Polyester, nylon, performance wear, upholstery. These materials can shed microfibers during wear and washing. So again, the goal is not to eliminate modern life. The goal is to identify the highest friction, lowest value exposures and reduce those first. So let's get to what actually matters here. Here are the levers marked from highest impact to nice to have. Lever 1. We'll call it the heat rule. This is the heavy lifter. Do not heat food in plastic, not in the microwave, and ideally not as a regular dishwasher habit either if the container is getting old, scratched, or degraded. So if you're thinking about reheating food, move it into glass, ceramic, or stainless steel when appropriate. If you do only one thing after this episode, just do that. Lever 2. Upgrade your water habits. If you rely heavily on disposable plastic bottles, especially bottles that sit in heat, that is a very easy place to improve. Use a stainless steel or glass bottle, or filtered tap water setup that you trust, or maybe both. A basic stainless bottle is one of the cheapest, easiest upgrades on the board. The point is not fear, the point is reducing repeat contact with disposable plastic when there is an easy alternative. Lever 3, retire old scratched plastic. Old beat up food containers, they're not helping you. If they're cloudy, warped, scratched, stained, or zapped 1,000 times, pitch them. That is a cheap, low drama win. Lever 4, dust control. This one is underrated. Vacuum with a HEPA-capable system if possible. Damp mop your hard floors. Wipe surfaces instead of just redistributing dust into the air. This matters more than most people think. Lever 5, smarter clothing and laundry habits. You don't need to burn your gym wardrobe, but you can rotate in more natural fibers when it's practical. Avoid living in synthetic activewear 24/7. Wash synthetics thoughtfully. Reduce unnecessary microfiber shedding where you can. Lever 6, nutritional support. Your body already has detox systems. Your job is to support them, not cosplay as a chemistry lab. These aren't detox hacks, they're fuel for your liver and gut to clear the noise naturally. Helpful basics: cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, kale, and cauliflower, fiber from foods like oats, flax, chia, berries, and legumes, hydration, regular exercise, sweating through movement or sauna if it's appropriate for you. This isn't magic. This is helping normal physiology just do its job. I made this switch myself because it was an easy win, low cost, low drama, and a high upside. Just as an aside, in full transparency, I did get rid of all the plasticware and plastic containers in the house. I switched to all glass and all borosilicate glass containers for storage. And I also put in a water purification system with pH control. All right, so let me save you from probably two of the dumbest responses on this topic. First one, denial. Everything is toxic, whatever. That's just pure laziness. If there are easy, rational upgrades you can make, just make them. Dumb response number two, that would be obsession. And we see a lot of it in the Reddit threads. Throwing out your entire house, panicking over every object, buying 10 detox products, and turning your life into a chemistry anxiety experiment. Actually, it's also lazy, it's just more expensive. The target here is rational reduction. Not denial, not psychosis, no panic, just levers. Look, I'm not telling you to live in a bubble. I certainly don't. The goal is to become a sturdy, resilient organism, not a fragile one. We live in a world full of plastics. That's our reality. But when you understand the playbook, when you know that the heat is the accelerator, dust is a vector, and simple lifestyle upgrades reduce the background load, you take back control. So here's the simplest version. Don't heat food in plastic. Reduce your reliance on disposable plastic bottles. Replace old scratch containers. Control indoor dust. Support your body with real food, fiber, movement, sleep, and recovery. That is how you lower unnecessary exposure without turning your life into a stress experiment. If this breakdown helped, share it with somebody who needs the no panic version. If this shifted how you think about the topic, let me know. DM me or hit me on Instagram. Soon to come, how light exposure shapes your hormones and the levers most people miss. And tomorrow, the dummies video will drop. For now, stay informed, stay vigilant, stay foundational. And this is Ultimate Biohacker 10X, and I am out. Thanks for listening to the Human 5.0 Project.
If you found value in today's episode, share it with someone who's ready to elevate their biology. Make sure to follow the show for weekly deep dives into peptides, protocols, devices, lifestyle strategies, and the science of high-performance longevity. Until next time, stay curious, stay optimized, and stay 10X.